Precision National Sports Sedans are on the track. Race 1 of the 2024 series. Stephen Tomasi from the pole today. Peter Ingram alongside him. In fact, Tasmanians inside the first two rows. Ben Purtell and that awesome Nissan 180SX starts alongside Kim Barwick. Ashley Jarvis and Mark Duggan start on the third row. Jeff Taunton and Steve Lacey. Watch those guys coming from the fourth row. Matty Ingram and Ryan Humphrey all the way from the west starts out of 10.
Michael Robinson, long-time contender in this championship, runner-up a couple of years ago in out of 11th position. Crossing, Cameron and Gilliland rounding out the cars that will take the starter in this one. The opening round of the National Sports Sedan Championship. A few g'days need to go out to 12-time champion Tony Ricciardello, watching on from the west. The Alpha's parked up for the moment, but it will be back. And one of the greats of this category, Darren Hossack, who's watching on from home in the shed because he's building a brand new Ford Mustang for one of the competitors on this grid that should be seen at some point in the near future. So g'day to the Hoss. He's watching on, one of the most exciting drivers we've seen in his battles with Tony Ricciardello and the stuff of legend in Aussie sports sedan racing.
We need Hossack back behind the wheel of the car. Not the shed. He shouldn't be building them. He should be racing them as well. As they come around 20 laps, rolling start in race number 1. Tomasi will lead and try and sweep across to take the lead into turn 1. The left-hander as they stack up. Ash Jarvis up on the curb there in the Tifo, Hold Monaro. There's Graham Gilliland, a 71-year-old in the field at the tail as they make their way down to turn 4 for the first of 20 journeys. A whole mixture of sounds out there from V8s to rotaries and everything in between.
And I don't think Stephen Tomasi is going to have this all his own way because Pete Ingram was really quick in qualifying and it was a really last-minute flyer from Tomasi in the Calibra that got him to pole position. But Ingram in that RX-7, lots of experience at this venue, going along well, and has real pace aboard that RX-7, which looks like an IMSA GTP car from the 90s, doesn't it? That real wide body look in that 20B rotary that screams away out in front, and he is continuing to put the pressure on Stephen Tomasi. This is the first time the National Sports Sedans have raced at Symmons Plains since April the 26th, 1992. Do you know who the reigning champion in Australian sports sedan was in 1992?
Kerry Bailey.
Close.
Oh, really?
The great man Greg Crick.
Cricky.
In the Honda Prelude. And around the outside, Ingram gets the race lead away from Tomasi with a big move under brakes.
I'll get punished for that comment too. I should have known it was Greg Crick and Steve Lacey facing the wrong direction. That's at the second last turn. It's going to bring out the safety car just as Ingram went to the lead. Oh, Tomasi just saw that yellow at the last moment. Purtell in third position. So already a lap in, and we'll see the Lederer Group IRC Mark GT SS car down here that he put on the track at Bathurst during the combined sedans event in February. He said be careful not to be parked there for too long. If you missed our coverage, we've had a few spot fires out there. It's incredibly dry down here in Tasmania in 2024. And a New South Wales driver returns to the track, albeit a lap down. Safety car out on the track, lap 3 of the Precision National Sports Sedan Series. It's Ingram, Tomasi and Purtell, your top 3.
So fascinating stuff early on. Tomasi jumps to an early lead. Ingram gets him. Then the safety car comes out. And I wonder if, out of an abundance of caution to make sure that there wasn't a little bonfire happening down there on the exit of turn 6. But hopefully it won't be a long safety car period and we'll be able to get this race underway because there's now serious intent between these two out in front. Purtell in third position, Barwick in fourth. And we're going to go back to green very, very shortly. So it was a very brief safety car because it did look like for a moment that Lacey was going to be stuck down there, but he was able to get that GTSS fired up. That SS stands for Sports Sedan. It's a dedicated build by Mark Cars for this category. They've taken their endurance racing concept and turned it into a sports sedan.
Sports sedan, super slippery, all the same. Cam?
Yeah, so the safety car's back in, guys. The reason they called that safety car, though, he'd been stopped for a long time. They thought he wasn't going to get going again, I should say. But we're about to get back racing, boys.
It's a lap down in the process too, so he'll just fester around the back for the balance of this race and at least get a result. As a short safety car period is ended, Ingram leads into 1. Tomasi, Purtell and Barwick Ash Jarvis in that blue and red. Holden Monaro runs back in 5th position. That was a little bit nervous for the Holden Calibra, and that might allow the Nissan just behind of Purtell, who was exceptionally quick during practice and qualifying, to leap up a spot.
Tomasi looks like he hangs on to that car when it's on cold tyres. Doesn't look like there's much driving going on. There's more passengering, but when it gets up to pressure, it's good. But there's a change of position here again. He drops back. Purtell goes by and grabs 2nd place away. So the local heroes now 1 and 2. The 2018 national champion, Stephen Tomasi, dropped a spot, but he's going to get the nose up the inside. But there's no room.
It's so cool watching the cars on semi-cold tyres through that sweeper up to turn 6. It's all about how confident you are on the restart. And both those cars look awkward.
Yeah, when you've got 1 million horsepower like these things, Drew, they can be particularly hard to drive. So this script is not playing out the way we thought it would be written in this one. And now Tomasi with the big send around the outside. A lot of braking performance in the Calibra, but maybe a little bit too deep, but it does get good drive off. And he'll retake 2nd position. Yes, he's got just enough straight line motivation to do that. So Tomasi back to 2nd place. But while that's been going on, Ingram's built a 2.2 second lead out in front. Big margin, 16 to go.
It's bringing Taunton and Barwick, Kim Barwick in the 105 car into this battle as well. Tomasi pulls away, the Precision International car that supported this team for the better part of 2 decades now. Not only the naming rights sponsor for the series, but supported the Tomasi's for so long in sports sedan competition.
Stephen's dad, Daniel, was part of one of the most famous moments in Australian sports sedan history at Phillip Island in 2006 when Dean Randall's Saab was tipped into the air and rolled 147 times and then pegged his helmet at Mr. Tomasi, who was the other driver involved in that incident. That was down at Honda Corner. Incredible moment way back when. But
there wasn't a panel left on Dean Randall's car either.
There really wasn't. No, that became an ex-Saab very quickly, but was able to walk away. Shows how strong these cars are. So that was Daniel Tomasi way back when, 20 years ago almost. And now his boy Stephen, who's already won a national title, is running 2nd. Ingram leads the way though, the margin, 2.2 seconds now.
Back at Simmons Plains, race number 1 of Precision International Sports Sedan Series here today, their first round of the year. Ingram continues to lead from Tomasi, who's got back ahead of Purtell. That battle's been going for the last lap. But all of a sudden, Jeb Taunton in the green and yellow Mark Cars Australia entry has bought into this battle, but a long way to go. Lap 7 here in the Plains.
It's another one of the Mark GTSS races. Ford Coyote V8, good aero on these cars, really strong purpose-built race cars built out of Queensland. This business founded in 2013 by Ryan McLeod. That's what the Mark stands for, McLeod Auto Racing Cars. Jeff Taunton bought the Mark Cars side of that business a couple of years ago and continues to expand, and he's doing a nice job, 5th place. Started a little bit further down than where he qualified. Nolts had a 3 grid spot penalty after qualifying, but it was actually a penalty for yesterday because he was speeding in pit lane, which is a big no-no in any forms of motorsport, so he copped a little penalty. But he's going along nicely. They're running a Michelin on that car this weekend. It's basically the Carrera Cup tyre, but it's the soft version, so it's pretty sticky, and that car's come alive as this race has gone on. He's now putting the pressure on for 4th and 5th place with Barwick in front.
He's going to contest this entire year with this car that Cam McLeod drove. I think it was his debut run, wasn't it, at the Gold Coast last year? Took all 3 race victories up there in the final round on the streets of Surfers Paradise. And Taunton, who ran this car in the combined sedan, sat out the 12-hour, which he's been a regular at for many years now, just to get a feel for this car, and runs back in 5th position. Ingram's margin, 2 seconds as we go to Greg Rust.
Now, Matt, you know that we are counting down to Supercheap Auto TCR here, and a few people in pit lane have reacted to the fact that the grid for that race, which is coming up here on 7, has not been published yet. We understand there is a hearing underway with Motorsport Australia, and it relates to car 18, to Aaron Cameron. Now, the Kumo Control tyre that we use in this series, you must run them in line with world regulations, the World Series, right? They have bar coatings on either side of them, a yellow bar coating and a red one, so that helps us understand the direction that the tyres must go, and everyone's got to be doing that the right way. The allegation is that that is around the wrong way on perhaps one of the tyres of Aaron Cameron's car. What impact that will have, what potential penalty there may or may not be, we don't know at this stage. We'll keep you updated on that.
Thank you for the newsbreaker down there, Greg Russ. There's some stories developing down there. That race will follow this one. Supercheap Auto TCR Australia, the second round of this year's series.
So knowing motor racing paddocks as we do, someone's put the call in. They've noticed it. One, probably a rival.
There's a snitch out there somewhere.
Yep. Graham Gilliland unfortunately parked up.
Pretty much where we saw Tom Heyman pull up before. He was having dramas with this car earlier today during practice, and he feels that car's in a safe enough spot at the old pit exit back in the day. So our leaders come through to complete a lap there, a whopping 10 seconds clear of our third place man now. Purtell, Kim Barwick, Taunton, Ash Jarvis, Duggan. Ingram has gone up into 8th spot, dropping Robinson down now. And Ryan Humphrey in that XD Falcon running back in 10th position.
But we have got a battle for the lead brewing, Matt, because Stephen Tomasi, now he's got that car working. It was the same in qualifying. It took time to get that car switched on, but when it gets switched on, it's a rocket ship. So that margin's come down from 3 seconds to 1.3. He's pulling lead out of Ingram. The RX-7 in front. So we're going to get a battle for the lead at some point. It feels inevitable. 10 laps to go. Still plenty of racing here at Symmons Plains. This is the battle for 3rd, 4th and 5th. And these are the two leaders. So 51.9, the quickest lap of the race for Stephen Tomasi a couple of laps ago. But last time round, a response from Ingram with a 52.18 sets his personal best lap of the race in response. Rusty?
Just seen Aaron Cameron walking through the paddock area, so that hearing must have wrapped up. 5 grid spot penalty. We'll be starting 10th. We'll have more on that for you at race start.
Big penalties, that's for Aaron Cameron. That race this afternoon. Oh, Ash Jarvis off the track here in the Tifo Hold Monaro. That's into turn 1. That's an awkward place to have an incident. So was there contact, or did he come in a little hot?
Go ahead, Steve.
And he's parked on the inside. It's in a really tricky position. If he can't refire that car, we might see a safety car. Just a cloud of dust when we arrived to the shot there for Ash Jarvis, car 44.
Oh, and this is for 3rd, and off the road goes the Nissan. Barwick was putting the move on Purtell, and that's allowed Taunton to get up the inside. And it's good he did that move at that point, because he now gets into a yellow flag zone. So they'll wave yellow flags for now until race control makes a call. Well, they're giving him every opportunity to get that car out of the way, but Jarvis doesn't look like it's going anywhere. And check this out, 0.4. We'd love this to stay green because we've got a battle for the lead. Tomasi now close enough to get some aero help, the slipstream, the tow, call it what you will. It's 3 kilometres an hour.
We'll call it.
Push pause on that for the moment. So we'll go back to safety car for the second time. The Hyundai safety car will be out and will control the field. And Ingram, who watched that black Calibra get ever closer and closer, will have to, well, he'll breathe, and Tomasi will just have to bide his time and hope that the race goes green, because that car does look like it's got the pace to challenge.
And the Motorsport Australia race control being very generous with the time, allowing Jarvis to refire the car and get going. But in the end, the trigger has been pulled, and it will compress the field. It was out to 14 seconds between 2nd and 3rd place, with Purtell running behind there. Taunton up to 4th now. Barwick and Duggan 5th and 6th. So a tough break for Ash Jarvis, originally from Bunbury in the west and now lives on the Gold Coast. Former TA2 national champion back in 2018. He's had some Bathurst 12-hour experience as well and featured at the top end of the National Sports Sedan Series in 2023.
Well, this is set up really well for a battle to the line. They waited a long time to get that safety car out. They pushed the button pretty quickly with Lacey, but they've just bided their time for that one to try and get Jarvis going again. Unfortunately, unable to fire that Monaro up. Cameron.
Having dramas, the Monaro of Michael Robinson, he came back into the pits then. The fire had gone out in his car, then they got it to refire. He's back out on track at the moment, but they don't know what caused the fire to go out in the first place.
So the proverbial fire rather than the real ones we've seen today.
The Ford Ranger Wild Track Recovery Ute has another customer today. Now busy during practice yesterday, and the Monaro gets towed away. Graham Gilliland's car just up to the right of this shot.
I was just doing my best fire spotting there just to make sure that it was all no smoke beneath where that car was, but it all looks good. The officials have checked that out.
So we're hearing next time by, we'll go back to Green Flag Racing for the second time. 2 races to come tomorrow as part of AWC Race Tasmania in this second round of Shannon Speed Series 2024. We love coming down to this part of the world, particularly when the weather's as good as this.
Graham Gilliland's got a good spot to watch motor racing from on the outside of turn 2. And if the attitude and the angles of Stephen Tomasi's car are anything to go on, he'll be watching a lot of oversteer, because Tomasi has had that thing sideways, and a couple of laps ago you and I both jumped back from the TV screen because it looked like he was brushing the wall with the rear corner. The thing was so sideways.
Through turn 3 in particular.
Yeah, it was exciting to watch.
maybe not for him.
Not to drive. It's good for us. We're safe. Well, this is sets up well. We're being told 1 lap dash. Let's see how this plays out. Ingram v Tomasi.
Once the lights go out, no weaving behind. That was a rule yesterday. It was talked about in the driver's briefing. So making sure that the maximum heat in there. And now the field will start to line up behind Ingram, Tomasi, Purtell, Jeff Taunton in the Mark Mustang, car 95. Duggan runs back in 6th. Ryan Humphrey now goes up into 8th spot. Tough break for Ash Jarvis and Graham Gilliland out of this race, and it'll be just 1 lap and 7 corners of racing in the first one of the year for Precision National Sports Sedans, back in Tasmania for the first time in 31 years.
What you got, Stephen Tomasi? What have you got? Can you challenge for a race win, or will Ingram have this one in the RX-7? Green flag flies, but it's up to the leader to pick the go point before the control line. He picked it, he went. Tomasi's right there. This is where this car's been struggling. He's been sideways out of turn 3 more often than not. This time he gets it straight, but gee, that RX-7's good on restarts. And Tomasi is going to have to be super aggressive down here into the hairpin to get a good run out of the corner and set something up for turn 6. I don't think he's close enough. This has been a perfectly well-judged restart from Ingram out in front in the RX-7.
Done so many laps of this track as well. He left that restart right at the control line. Didn't give a chance to Tomasi in the number 9 Holden Calibre. It's going to be enough for Ingram with just 2 left-hand turns remaining. And the 32 machine will strike up the first W of the year in a 1-lap dash here at Simmons Plains by just under a second. Back to Tomasi, Purtell, Barwick, and back to Taunton, home for 5th position.
Safety car helped Ingram there. On the longer run, the Calibre is a better car. It looks like it's good over the longer distance, but I think that restart really helped Ingram. It took the sting out of that charge that Tomasi was having, and a perfectly judged restart. He timed it well, and then on colder tyres, the number 32 Mazda RX-7 was very, very impressive, and he pulls away and wins by just under a second in a 1-lap dash. The first winner for Precision National Sports Sedans for 2024. Ingram, Tomasi and Purtell, the top 3. Barwick in the Nissan GTR in 4th. Jeff Taunton racing into 5th place. Mark Duggan in 6th. Then Matt Ingram, Ryan Humphrey, Scott Cameron and John Crossing rounding out the top 10. in race number 1 of a brand new season for the big bangers of Australian motorsport. The Sports Sedans are back. It's great to have them here at AWC Race Tasmania.
Well, we've got our race 1 winner. Started P2, Peter Ingram in the RX-7, mate. Great drive.
Thank you. That was great fun. I was tight going through 1 and 2 with Steve, but he left me plenty of room, so that was great. Hard run up to the back straight and just managed to get him under brakes. And I just put my head down and went. So that was great. Good fun.
Well, congratulations, mate. It's 1-0 New South Wales to Victoria as well. Great job, Peter.
Thank you very much. We'll keep the New South Wales blue flag going. Cheers.
Thanks, mate. Well done.
Cheers.
Congratulations.
Thanks, mate.